5 years ago, we published one of the most successful books of the decade, with over 3 million copies sold across 31 different languages. This is the story of how it happened. On July 18, 2011, The New Yorker published a profile of Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater, the world's wealthiest hedge fund. The article mentioned that Dalio had written a 100-page text for new employees called Principles, which the writer described as partly a self-help book, partly a management manual, and partly a treatise on the principles of natural selection as they apply to business. An editor at Simon & Schuster read that New Yorker article avidly, downloaded a copy of Principles, which Dalio was giving away on the Bridgewater website, and immediately wrote a letter to Dalio's assistant asking for a meeting. He was told to write back in the new year, so in early 2012 he sent this letter. I am not a fan of most traditional business books. I don't read them, and I try to avoid publishing them because most of the time they do nothing for me. What made me love Principles so much is that it is actually a work of philosophy and an exploration of that oldest philosophical question, how to live. The editor heard nothing for 2 years until a literary agent named Jim Levine asked us whether we'd still be interested in meeting with Ray Dalio. By 2015, we had a deal, but even though Ray had written hundreds of pages by that point, he still spent another 2 years rewriting and refining the manuscript. In 2017, 6 years after we first read that article, we published Principles, and it became an immediate international sensation throughout the world. Why? Well, I'll give you my top 3 reasons. First of all, a lot of readers wanted to understand how one of the greatest financial minds of our time thinks, and Principles offers a fascinating window into Ray Dalio's process of analyzing information, managing, making decisions, and assessing risk. Second, the impetus for the book came from an authentic place. Ray Dalio truly believes that everyone should write down their principles. And third, it's those unconventional ideas within Principles that distinguished it and animated it. Principles makes an eloquent case for creating an environment in which colleagues strive to separate their biases from their ideas and, with detachment and rigorous analysis, choose the best path forward. As we note the 5th anniversary of Principles, we are celebrating with 2 companion books. Ray is releasing a guided journal this fall to help people do what he does and codify their principles. Ray has also written a new book that is a major bestseller, Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order: Why Nations Succeed and Fail. The book offers a macroeconomic view of history and a theory of how the world works, while posing some sobering questions about whether the United States can maintain its primacy with so much debt, economic inequality, and political dysfunction. Dalio describes a recurring pattern of cycles and empires, from China and the Netherlands to the United Kingdom to the United States, and the ways in which their power waxes and wanes. He writes, this dynamic leads to a very small percentage of the population gaining and controlling exceptionally large percentages of the total wealth and power, then becoming overextended, and then encountering bad times, which hurt those least wealthy and least powerful the hardest, which then leads to conflicts that produce revolutions and/or civil wars. When these conflicts are over, a new world order is created and the cycle begins again. Let it be noted that Ray Dalio is that rare outspoken billionaire who is willing to call for a more equitable distribution of wealth. His book offers a way of seeing our current turmoil in a longer historical context, while also offering a bold view of what the changing world order may offer in the near future. He believes that advances in quantum computing with artificial intelligence will lead to unimaginable advances in learning and improvement within the next 5 to 20 years, resulting in what he believes will be the greatest shift in wealth and power the world has ever seen. For someone so successful, Ray Dalio also shows a surprising degree of humility in this book. He acknowledges that he could be wrong and that there's a lot we can't know, but I came away from reading both of his books with a sharper and more informed way of thinking about business and the future. And that is the word according to Karp.